So obviously, grow up in Houston, play high school football in Houston, then go to Arkansas.
Right.
A pretty interesting college coaching staff you had at Arkansas.
Yeah, my freshman year we had Frank Broyles was our head coach. Our offensive coordinator was Joe Gibbs, and our defense coordinator was Jimmy Johnson.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a nice staff.
How good were you guys?
We weren't that good until my junior year. We ended up 10-2.
Now, was that Frank Broyles one of his first years there?
No. Frank had been there.
For a long
In
time
fact,
now.
my senior year, we played Texas in Memorial Stadium, and Frank and Darryl Rowe retired that game. So
Oh, okay, wow. So that was at the end of his career
Right,
then.
at the end of his career.
So from Arkansas, then drafted.
Right.
How was your time at Arkansas? I mean,
It was great. I mean, my best friend in high school was a guy named R.C. Tillman, and we decided at the last minute we were going to go to the same school. And he wanted to go to Nebraska. I wanted to go to Oklahoma. So we compromised and went to Arkansas.
Is that right?
And then on draft day, it was different than it is now where it's all televised. I mean, you basically got a call from the team, and we were drafted 2 people apart in the draft in the second round.
So most guys go to college for a girl. You went to a certain college for another guy.
Wow, when you put it that way, let me see.
I'm sorry, I just had to throw that one out there. So, okay, so you guys, in 75, you win the Southwest.
I went to college for a dude, man. I never really thought about it like that. Okay.
Let's compromise and just go to Arkansas.
Exactly. But let's skip and hold hands when we sign.
Are you guys still close?
Yeah, we are. Not as close as you would have us be, of course, but he lives in Atlanta.
Teams were looking at me more for kickoffs at that point, and then just took advantage of the workouts and had 2 teams that wanted me and ended up getting drafted by the Bengals.
Now that's a pretty big deal. I mean, to get drafted as a kicker, there's not a lot of them. I mean, even the big-time kickers in the game today, your Robbie Golds, name your kicker other than Jankowski. Most of them just go undrafted, and then they kind of find, okay, this guy needs a kicker. I'm going to go there, and the top kicker coming out gets the pick first, and it falls down that way. Not a lot of draft pick. How did you feel when that day? Were you expecting to get drafted, or did it kind of come as a surprise?
You know, I was convinced I was going to be a Chicago Bear. They had showed up 4 times. I didn't miss. Went out to lunch with them. Draft day, I'm on the phone with Chicago. They say, "Congratulations, you're our next draft pick."
Is that right?
And I'm on the phone, and finally the gal said, "Oh," and she let an expletive fly, and I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Cincinnati just took you the pick before a click." I was like, going to Illinois, I wanted to go to Chicago.
So Chicago was the pick right after Cincinnati.
Yes.
Cincinnati took you.
Yes. And so, things did not go well in Cincinnati, and it was a great learning experience. Though I'm grateful to the Bengals that they stuck with me for as long as they did.
So you took the long route coming out of high school. A lot of great players. Jeremy Shockey comes to mind just right off the top. But you went the JC route.
Right.
Now, did you go? Was it a grades thing, or was it more of no one really saw me and I wanted to go somewhere where I can really show what I got?
What happened was when I went baseball out of high school, the schools that were recruiting me, Alabama, LSU, Florida State, I took a year off from football. So when I decided to go back to football, I contacted these schools, and and for them, they didn't really know what I still had because it was a year off, so they wasn't going to waste a scholarship on a person that might have lost a step or 2. So they told me if I go to a JC, prove myself, I could go back, and needless to say, I did my thing in JC and then wound up going.
No, at JC had a pretty good receiving score, huh?
Oh wow, yeah, the Deion Branch. Yeah, we actually the year we were there, we won the whole thing. We were wire to wire, went 12-0 and won the national championship, and he wound up going on to Louisville, and I went to Florida State, and then he's a Patriot, still a Patriot,
wow. And
I wound up going to Green Bay and the other teams after that.
Nice. The ever funny Billy Washington. You never been on TV before, have you? Is that Antonio Smith?
No, it isn't. That's Bret Hartman. He's rehabbing a knee. He's wanting to let me know everything is going okay. The Hitman, baby.
Thanks for.
We miss you, man.
Thanks for being here.
Everybody wants Andre Johnson back. I want Bret Hitman Hartman back, man. That dude, that's my guy.
Did you like the way he tackled?
Yeah. Oh my God. With reckless abandon. Yeah, man. I love that. And it's so funny that he hurt his knee just like just running basically. Yeah.
Oh man.
If something actually happened where you guys can integrate Bum Phillips into some sort of presentation for the people that have been following Houston football, since 1961. Then I think that would be an amazing thing. But yes, I have been following forever, man.
His sons are all defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah. He's to coach this other team that I hate.
So,
you think he's going to be there for a while, though? I'm sorry.
I do. I mean, not that I don't think he isn't deserving of another head coaching job if someone wanted to give it to him. I just think sometimes that if you've made enough stops and you've been around places, I think at some point, you end up just kind of, it's like Dick LeBeau almost.
Yeah.
Dick LeBeau had a couple tries at head coaching, and then I don't know if he'd ever gotten offered again or he just didn't want to go or what his deal was, but I feel like maybe you reach a certain age and, you just don't end up getting the offers again.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's there yet. It's, like I said, there's no one that's smarter about football. I mean, just talking to him, you can just tell, I think even his dad, I think, was always portrayed as this kind of country bumpkin that wasn't very smart, and I've always been told that Bum was real smart. He knew.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say Wade's is portrayed as a country bumpkin or anything, but he's kind of this jolly, happy guy, but he's so smart about defense and football, and always knows. He's always pointing things out on special teams and this. Watch out for this, and it's like, wow, okay, this guy.
Yeah.
You can obviously tell this guy just spent his whole life around football because he's seen it all. What did you think when they brought him back here? I mean, what were you hoping for? Coming off last year, obviously big disappointment for us last year. When they announced that he was going to be the defensive coordinator, were you?
I was happy about that, but that was sort of the least of my concern. I mean, not really the least of my concern, but I just thought that the defense needed to add more talent, and not that I thought the defensive coordinator from last year was doing a great job. I just didn't know that with basically the same defense, other than a few very important additions, that you guys would be as good as you are this year.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. And, and the other thing is that, him being from Dallas, and I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I don't care what team the Dallas Cowboys play. I want the other team. Like, I don't care if the Cowboys play the Ku Klux Klan. That's how much I hate. I'd want the other team to win. I'd show up at the tailgate and all my Klan regalia, my hood. Go, Grandmaster, go. I would, you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, maybe you don't. But
what's probably your most memorable game? What are some of the games that you take with you from your times in the NFL?
Well, I know as a rookie, coming in, we were playing Pittsburgh, and I don't know if it was my rookie year or if it was my second year in the league. I had 2 interceptions versus the Steelers. And because a lot of times when I actually first came in, I was a corner at Miami, and they were saying I was too small, to play strong safety.
Right.
And I had Nick Saban, coming in, and Nick was always telling me, hey man, don't worry about the size, it's about leverage. Look at film, learn how to get the best leverage for us tackling and and covering. So I did that. And it helped me out quite a bit. And that kind of helped me. He kind of helped me start studying the film. Although I wasn't, where I was later in my career for studying film. I wish I had done that.
Right.
What I try to teach those kids now, study film as much as possible.
Right.
But yeah, he helped me out quite a bit. And that kind of helped me going into my rookie year.
So the Astros, a lot of people in Houston very upset, me being one of them, because I grew up in Houston. I'm used to the Astros being a National League team, moving to the American League. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, you have a right to be upset. It is going to be a hard one for us to swallow. 50 years of existence in the National League is a lot. I mean, that's a long time and such a great franchise. We've won a lot. We got to the World Series in 2005, and we've done a lot of things for the city. But as far as Jim Crane and the committee coming in, he didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
They held it over his head. He wanted to take this organization. He wants to propel it into what he thinks he can build, and that's what it was. So he didn't look as if I'm moving to the AL and I have it's such a damper. It's the fact that I'm getting control of this organization. Drayton did such an amazing job, but it's time for me to take over. And he's made a couple moves already, and so hopefully those moves work out. They seem great so far, but let me just say one thing about Jim Crane and the committee that he has. They didn't have a choice, so it is going to be tough. It is going to be a transition phase for sure. It's going to be a different type of baseball, but at the end all be all, winning is the ultimate goal, and we can win in either league.
Well, now you've also been involved in politics.
Well, that's the rumor, but not really. That's the impression. But go ahead, ask your question.
But you gave the invocation, correct, under President George Bush?
I did, but I really view that as more of a civic/priestly responsibility, because I'm not a Republican. I'm more of a Democrat than a Republican. I classify myself as a Democrat, right?
Right.
But I would say, Democrats and Republicans aside, what we really need, this is almost sound like a
Quit
passion
labeling
now.
people.
Yeah, some Christocrats around here. You know what I mean? Look at the content, not so much the label, and quit all this uncivility and silliness that's going on in D.C. and let's focus on the needs of the people and get the country moving again.
But you did support George Bush
I did.
when he ran.
I did.
And then you supported President Obama.
I did.
And some people would say two diametrically, politically divided in their ways of thinking.
Yep.
How did you
I got to know
together?
I got to know the persons and not the labels. Big difference. Got to know the persons and not the labels. And amazingly, they have more things, ideology aside, in terms of persona, the personality, and philosophy of life. They have a lot of things in common. Since you're, as the kids say, since you're going there, having watched both President Obama and President George W. Bush, I will tell you one of the most critical factors that helps to shape the presidency, the administration, and subsequent legacy are the people they choose to be around them. And I'm not talking about the cabinet. Right. I'm talking about these so-called advisors that are in the president's ear every day. Those folks' input make a lot of difference.